Good morning and welcome to the American Spirit Award Luncheon and Leadership Forum. I'm John Kerner and I have the privilege of serving as chairman of the National World War II Museum Board of Trustees. Over the last 2 decades, the American Spirit Award has grown into a nationally acclaimed event that brings together multiple generations, from veterans who led the fight for our freedom, to the community leaders who embody the spirit of the greatest generation, and to the student leaders who personify the American spirit in their schools and communities across the country. I'd like to thank each of you for joining us today. We honor an impressive group of individuals, including 51 high-performing students representing every state and the District of Columbia, who will receive the Billy Michal Student Leadership Award. Three distinguished World War II veterans who will be presented the Silver Service Medallion. And 3 extraordinary individuals who have made lasting and impactful contributions to their communities who will receive the American Spirit Medallion. I'd like to thank W. Grace Stream and the Matilda Geddings Stream Foundation for their generous support of today's luncheon. Also want to express our gratitude to the American Spirit Awards presenting sponsor, Hancock Whitney, and their CEO, John Hairston. Before we begin our program, I'd like to welcome Rabbi David Gerber to the stage to give us the invocation. Rabbi Gerber?
As a rabbi, I represent a tradition that is thousands of years old, and we have a blessing for everything you could possibly imagine, except good weather. That's because we were a desert people, so for us, good weather meant rain. So we are taught in our tradition that the more it rains, the more righteous we have been acting. And I can only imagine with the 51 honorees, with the veterans receiving their medals, that there's a lot of righteousness in this room today, so it's your fault it's raining. It is truly an honor to offer the invocation at the American Spirit Awards. And spirit is a word that has a very fascinating translation in the Bible, in its original Hebrew. The Hebrew word for spirit is the word ruach, and it refers to an unseen force that, though invisible, it has the ability to move us in the direction of good. In the Bible, it was the Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God, that initiated the works of creation. It was the Ruach Elohim that parted the Red Sea for Moses and the Israelites. And today we honor those who best embody the Ruach, the Spirit, of our brave soldiers who fought against unspeakable evil. So we begin our ceremony for a blessing for this Ruach. May the deeds of the righteous be our guiding light. May the sacrifices of our forefathers fuel our passion for justice and mercy. And may the Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God, be with us, as it was with generations past, granting us the will to pursue peace. As together we say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Gerber, and good morning, everyone. I'm Stephen Watson, and I have the honor and privilege of being the president and CEO here at the National World War II Museum. And we're going to start off with our long-standing tradition this morning of asking our World War II veterans, our home front workers, and our Holocaust survivors to please stand or wave to be recognized for your service to our country. We know we're going to honor several of you in this coming luncheon, but please stand or wave now for a general reception. It's so special to welcome you to our museum. Of course, our work here every day is to honoring your service and sacrifice, and we hope those of you visiting for the first time this weekend have had a great visit so far. Now I'd like to ask all veterans from other time periods and the active duty military that are here with us today to please stand and be recognized for your service to our country. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge all of our museum trustees who are here in town for our annual meeting, and they're here with many of our former trustees that are joining us today. I want to thank you for all of your leadership over the last 22 years, and especially your commitment during the last 2 years, which has been a trying time for us all. So let's thank our trustees for their service. And finally, a few special guests I want to recognize. Dr. Nick Mueller, our founding president and CEO, and now president and CEO emeritus. Nick, I know you're here somewhere. Thank you, Nick, for your 32 years of service to this museum and this mission. And also a very special person that you will see a little bit later in the program, Billy Michal, a 2017 American Spirit Medallion recipient, and the man for whom our student award is named. Billy, it is very special to have you here with us today. The Silver Service Medallion is awarded to veterans and those with a direct connection to World War II who have served our country with distinction and, upon retirement, continue to lead by example. The museum is honored to present the 2022 Silver Service Medallion to 3 distinguished individuals who helped the Allies secure victory in World War II and continue to lead great lives of service. To introduce our first honoree, I'd like to welcome to the podium the President and CEO of Hancock Whitney, our presenting sponsor, John Hairston.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, happy lunch, everybody. I think we're dry so far, so I think we did well. How many of you have seen any of the television shows or series called Band of Brothers? Just about everyone? You know, the only thing I think better than watching the series is to be able to meet one of those individuals, and we have one of those individuals that was an Easy Company veteran here with us today. I'd like to share a little bit about Brad Freeman, who is the last surviving member of the now famous Band of Brothers. He was of Company E, the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, the 101st Airborne Division. Brad answered the call to service when he was 18 years of age. He volunteered to be a paratrooper and later a mortarman for the Easy Company. He jumped in the D-Day Normandy invasion. He fought in Operation Market Garden, and then he was a part of the defense of Bastogne during the Battle of the Bulge, where he was wounded. He played a very influential role in the making of the HBO series Band of Brothers, based on the book by our co-founder, Dr. Stephen Ambrose, along with Nick, and he was co-directed by museum friends and supporters, Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. Mr. Freeman returned home after the war. He entered college, my fellow alma mater, Mississippi State Bulldog, and he continues to lead a very full and a productive life. He has generously offered first-person accounts of his wartime experiences so that current and future generations will understand the sacrifice and commitment needed to triumph in the war that changed the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Silver Service Medallion recipient for 2022, Mr. Bradford C. Freeman.
Hello. Okay. Thank you.
Ready to sit? Sit down.
Okay.
The thunderbolt was a nice touch right then, wasn't it? Really good. It is really an honor to be in the presence of true heroes. Thank you, Mr. Freeman, for your service. To present our next recipient, I'm honored to introduce my fellow National World War II Museum trustee, the Honorable Governor Christine Whitman. Governor.
Thank you, John, and it's my real honor and privilege to be able to introduce Rome Davis. She's the oldest of 6 surviving members of the U.S. Army 6888, Central Postal Directory Battalion. The 6888 was the only all-black women's Army Corps unit deployed overseas during World War II, and their mission began in 1945 in England. In the course of their service, they sorted some 18 million pieces of mail, an incredible feat that boosted the morale of our troops and the families at home. But more than that, Rome actually was a member of the Transportation Corps. She drove a 2.25-ton truck, 2 Jeeps, staff car, and a weapons carrier. She actually kept driving until she was 101, so that was last year. But when the 6888 came back, they had no parades, they were awarded no medals, they were given no recognition, and yet they made a huge difference to troops abroad and at home. She, following her discharge, as you can imagine, she didn't slow down. She had a successful career as a fashion designer, modeling, real estate, and was a loyal worker at Winn-Dixie until finally told, again, I believe it was last year, she had to stop because of COVID. But Winn-Dixie's team is here today in support of Ms. Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage, or down front where she'll speak, the 2022 Silver Service Medallion recipient, Rome Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited, so glad to be here. It's been marvelous for me. I've enjoyed every single minute, sick or well, make it through. And I appreciate everyone, their effort to make us happy as soldiers. I'm speechless. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gesture. I don't know how to thank you, except to say just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Rome. And I have to add, she had 5 brothers who also served in World War II. So that was a really dedicated family. Now I'm privileged to welcome a former governor, another former governor, and a fellow World War II trustee board member, the Honorable Pete Wilson.
Thank you, Christy. We're a little long on governors. Louis Conter is one of 2 remaining Pearl Harbor survivors from the attack on the battleship USS Arizona BB-39. Lou enlisted in the U.S. Navy when he was only 18 years old, prior to the entry of the United States in World War II. In December 1941, he was the helmsman for transit of the Arizona into and out of Pearl Harbor. Louis is unable to be with us today. But he was on the deck of the Missouri when the Japanese attack began on Pearl Harbor. And in the days that followed, his bravery, his dedication to his fellow crewmen was witnessed by all as he helped rescue crewmen and recovered the bodies of the fallen sailors around him. Lou later earned his wings and became a VP-11 Black Cat pilot in the Pacific Theater. Following World War II, Lou continued to serve his country, flying combat missions in Korea and helping to create the Navy's first survival evasion, resistance, and escape program. He went on to become an intelligence officer, and because of his expertise and his extraordinary skills, a distinguished advisor to multiple presidents of the United States. He is unable, unfortunately, to be with us today, but I am very pleased and honored to introduce Lou's great-nephew and fellow naval aviator, Captain Raymond Hauer, United States Marine Corps, who will accept the Silver Service Medallion in honor of his uncle. Ray?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Great pleasure.
Thank you, Governor. As he said, I'm Captain Ray Hauer. I'm Lou Conter's great nephew, and I wish Lou was here to receive this award, but I'm truly honored and humbled that he asked me to stand in his stead. Uncle Lou has asked me to read the following brief statement on his behalf. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all enjoying a fine luncheon. I wish I could be with you in person. You would think, after walking on this big blue marble for over 100 years, I could just ignore my doctor's instructions and do as I damn well please. But old habits die hard, and I still follow orders. So please accept my apologies for not being on deck with you today. I am honored that my great-nephew, Captain Raymond Gregory Daniel Howard, the United States Marine Corps, is with you to accept this award on my behalf. It is fitting that he represents me, as the naval aviator wings that he wears on his chest today are the very wings I earned on November 15th, 1942. I am grateful and humbled that I've been selected to receive the Silver Service Medallion. As I said repeatedly over the years, and will say again here today, we all just did what we had to do. This is why it's hard for me to accept being singled out for recognition. With that in mind, I graciously accept this award on behalf of myself and all my fellow veterans, most especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, that we may be here today. Thank you. I also want to thank the National World War II Museum for continuing to tell our story, not for us as individuals, but for us as a nation. Those of us that lived the war are fast becoming but a memory, but the lessons we learned during the war are as important today as they were then. First, we need to be strong and vigilant in our defense, as we cannot afford to be caught off guard again. The second and most important lesson lies in the amazing things we can accomplish as a people and as a nation when, despite our personal differences, we pull together as one. By telling our story, you keep those lessons alive. Thank you for keeping those lessons alive. May God bless you all and our great nation. Signed, Louis Conser, Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, retired. Thank you. Appreciate it. Beautifully said. Thank you, Captain Howard, for that tribute to your great uncle. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring and celebrating all of our 2022 Silver Service Medallion recipients. And thank you to our trustees and friends, John Hairston, Governor Christie Whitman, and Governor Pete Wilson for your beautiful introductions. And also a very special thank you to Paul and Madeline Hilliard for their support as our Silver Service Medallion Program sponsors. Thank you, Paul and Madeline, for your generous and continuing support. Since our beginnings as the National D-Day Museum, our museum has bestowed the American Spirit Medallion upon individuals who demonstrate extraordinary dedication to the principles that strengthen America's freedom and democracy. Through their work and example, the American Spirit Medallion recipients exemplify the highest standards of integrity, discipline, and initiative while making unselfish contributions to their community, state, or nation. To introduce the first of this year's American Spirit Medallions, I'd like to welcome to the podium a gentleman who has been with the museum since before its inception, or before its opening, Museum Trustee Mr. Boise Bollinger.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm not going to read Jackie Clarkson's resume. It's in your program. And yes, she served as an elected member of the City Council. Then she was elected to the House of Representatives. Then she came back and was re-elected to the City Council. But while she was serving in public service, Jackie always had the service people and the veterans always at the front and center of everything she did. And that's why she fell in love with the concept, and I'll say concept because we didn't have a museum, of what we were getting ready to build here in New Orleans. There were three important things in those early days that happened that were extremely important. The first one was that Bob Livingston got us an appropriation from Congress for $4 million when we were broke. The second was Frank Stewart gave us a capstone gift. And the third one, and maybe the most important, was Jackie bringing us into Governor Foster's office to pitch to give us $6 million to build the Louisiana Pavilion, the building that we were in last night. And Foster, who was not from here, not from New Orleans, looked at his commission administration and Jackie had said, this is going to be the new museum district. Now, this was a pretty rough neighborhood at the time, but they had the Confederate Museum across the street and the Ogden Museum, and he looked over at his commission of administration and he nodded, and so Foster said, okay. And that event was the beginning of what would become $86 million over the last 20 years from the state of Louisiana. But that gift was the first one. So Jackie, we owe you so much for all you have done. This museum probably has never had an event that you didn't come to. You were involved in it from the day one, and you're still here. Ladies and gentlemen, the lady in red, the Honorable Jackie Clarkson.
Appropriately with a red ribbon.
Good afternoon. Boise said I had to hold it to 1 hour. He knows politicians. Thank you so much. Boise, Stephen, Nick Mueller, David Velker watching us from heaven, Congressman Livingston, General Livingston. Those were the beginning. And they asked Jackie Clarkson to go to Governor Foster and ask for, it was $7 million, not 6. And I said, well, of course, you know. Nick Mueller and Boise came with me. Nick was the authority on the story of D-Day and the fact that Dr. Ambrose had done Eisenhower's biography and said that the D-Day boats, the Higgins boats, had won the war. And Boise was the authority on the private money we could match to any public money. So in we walked, the three of us, with the appointment I made, and I thought I could leave. But Governor Foster put the questions to me. And thank goodness Nick had me informed. And I could answer why it had to be New Orleans, not Baton Rouge, the capital, not Lafayette, where someone favored in the legislature lived, not Franklinton, where the governor lived, not Lake Charles, where the speaker lived. It had to be New Orleans because Dr. Ambrose was here when he wrote the biography of Eisenhower, which said it was the Higgins boats that won D-Day, and that's what won the war. So we, the three of us, told Governor Foster we could have a museum in Washington, and it would be just another one of many, many museums, or we could bring it here to New Orleans, and it would be one of the best in the world, and it is. And I'm here today. I accept this on behalf of all of you that have followed the five of us. Nick was the leader. You followed us and made it happen and made it continue to happen. This could never have worked without all of you for the last 25, at least 30 years. Your resources, your dedication, your love, your belief in what made America great, your belief in what made us a democracy that we will retain forever. There was no way this could be just another museum in Washington, D.C. It had to be the best museum in the world, and only in New Orleans could we make it that way. Thank you all very, very much. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Maybe you want to go across or you want to go this way? Okay. Whatever's easiest. That's beautifully said. Thank you, Jackie. That was beautifully said. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage to introduce our next award recipient, Museum Trustee Sharon Estill Taylor.
Thank you, Stephen. Dr. Carol Rittner, Sister Carol Rittner. When I asked her how she would like me to address her, she said, "How about Carol?" So I'm honored beyond words to be here today with Carol. And for a Catholic girl to call a nun by her first name is a very big deal, right? I met her first through her books, her articles, her documentary films, her interviews, and from sharing her work along with other Holocaust scholars like Elie Wiesel, Viktor Frankl, Primo Levi, Hannah Arendt, with my countless university students. My hope was to meet her one day, and here's why. Dr. Carol Rittner has dedicated her life to scholarship, activism, and her Christian faith. As the Distinguished Emerita Professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies and the Dr. Marcia Radikoff Grossman Professor of Holocaust Studies at Stockton University, Dr. Rittner's research, teaching, and filmmaking about the Holocaust continue to advance a deeper understanding of the origins and responses to its history. In addition to her scholarship, Dr. Rittner is a Catholic nun of more than 6 decades with the Religious Sisters of Mercy, and thus brings a distinct perspective to Holocaust studies by examining the participation of Christians in the Holocaust and other genocides of the 20th century. Among her many distinctions, Dr. Rittner is an Academy Award-nominated filmmaker, a Golden Globe winner, a lecturer, and liaison to the United Nations, who is active in numerous organizations working to prevent genocide. Her commitment to serving others and creating a better world reflects the same spirit that inspired an entire generation of Americans to dedicate themselves to the cause of Allied victory. So please join me in welcoming 22 American Spirit Medallion recipient and my new friend, Dr. Carol Rittner, to the stage.
First, I'd like to thank the members of the Board of Trustees of the National World War II Museum for honoring me with this award. And a special thank you, of course, to my new friend, Dr. Sharon Taylor, who nominated me for the award. My late father served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, and were he alive, he would be very honored that I am being honored in this way, and he would be extremely proud. Thank you also to President Stephen Watson and to your excellent team for taking care of all the arrangements for my visit. We live in difficult times. We live in a time of wars and rumors of wars throughout the world. We live in a time of violence in our cities and on our streets in this great country of ours. And we live in a time when too many people, especially politicians, use words to demean and destroy others, to tell big lies about their opponents. I'm a teacher, and like all good teachers, I like to ask questions. One of the questions I often ask students to think about is this one. What is the role of good people in difficult times? I remind my students that the Holocaust did not begin with guns and gas. It began with words, hateful words. That old children's rhyme, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me," wasn't true during the Nazi era, World War II, and the Holocaust. It wasn't true on January 6, 2021, and it isn't true today. Words can hurt. Words do hurt. Words can startle and wound people personally, and words also can wound in more public ways. I'm a teacher, but honestly, I'm suspicious of education. Why? Because as World War II in Europe was coming to an end, members of our military, when they came upon Nazi concentration camps, saw what no person should witness: gas chambers built by learned engineers, women and children who had been starved and experimented on by educated physicians, men and women who had been tortured, then killed, and burned in ovens and pits by high school graduates. Yes, I'm suspicious of education. What were these people learning in schools and universities? I tell students education is important only if it serves to make us more human. What is the role of good people in difficult times? To be human beings, to remember that we are all part of one human family, no matter our color, gender, religion, nationality, sexual orientation, ability, or disability. We are all human beings, and we must unendingly try to do our best to treat everyone as we would like to be treated. That is the role of good people at all times, but most especially, it is the role of good people in difficult times. Thank you again for the American Spirit Award for honoring me and the work I have tried to do these past 50+ years.
Talk about spirit, right? To introduce our final American Spirit Award recipient, I'd like to welcome to the podium Vice Chair of the National World War II Museum's Board of Trustees, Ms. Sonia Perez.
Such powerful words. I am in awe to stand before all of you all today. Dr. Charles Teamer is a veteran, a distinguished businessman, a civic and education leader, and a true icon for all of us who live here with him in New Orleans. His dedication to strengthening his community through volunteerism, through civic engagement and education reflects those same values that helped our great nation secure victory in World War II. Dr. Teamer's extraordinary 40-plus year career in higher education took him to Dillard University and then to Clark Atlanta University, his alma mater. His work with the NAACP and other organizations furthered his impact nationwide. As a trusted advisor for the National World War II Museum, Dr. Teamer helped to develop a special traveling exhibit, Fighting for the Right to Fight, African American Experiences in World War II. Dr. Teamer worked with us to share this story of the war with multiple generations. His exemplary record of public service to dozens of organizations has really underscored his commitment to his community, to the state of Louisiana, and to the United States of America. He was awarded a Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, by Clark Atlanta University. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming 2022 American Spirit Medallion recipient, Charles C. Teamer.
Good afternoon. I am very seldom speechless, but it happens to all of us. First, let me thank this organization for all that you have done for not only the citizens of this community, but the citizens all over the world. I grew up in a family of 9, as I was the youngest. The motive that always challenged me was that higher goals bring higher results. The growth and development of this organization certainly reflects that. I am honored to receive this award. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, but I recognize that there is work still to be done. Higher goals bring higher results. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in congratulating all of our American Spirit Medallion and Silver Service Medallion recipients. Extraordinary. At tonight's gala, of course, we will continue our award presentations with recognition of our American Spirit Award recipients. And this year, as I mentioned last night, we have an incredible slate of honorees. Rick Atkinson, Norman C. Francis, Karen Gunther, Frederick W. Smith, and of course our Navajo Code Talkers, Peter McDonald, Samuel Sandoval, Thomas Begay, and John Kinsel. So it's going to be a remarkable evening. It's been a remarkable lunch so far. Please enjoy your lunch, and we will be back with the continuation of our program shortly. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon again. One of the things that makes today's Luncheon and Leadership Forum so special is the opportunity to bring together some of the nation's most inspiring students, veterans, and community leaders to interact with one another and illustrate how the American spirit continues to live on and inspire positive change across the country. We'd like to once again thank the Matilda Geddings Gray Foundation for so generously sponsoring today's luncheon. I'd like to welcome my fellow National World War II Museum trustee, Gray Stream, to the stage on behalf of his family's foundation to introduce Billy Michal Student Leadership Awards. Come on up, Gray.
Hey, everyone. The appreciation for supporting this luncheon today is, I'm grateful for it, but as any of us can tell by just getting to be a part of this, I pursued the opportunity to get to be a part of supporting today's luncheon. I actually called Stephen and Lamont and asked if we could do it because I love this event so much. It is such an opportunity to be reminded and inspired what we have to be grateful for. So thank you for the opportunity to allow us to support it and to do it. I'm also really excited that despite rain and a busy day that my wife Katie could be here today, and we're both extremely excited that our 11-year-old Matilda could also be here today. And one of the reasons that I just think this is one of the neatest things that the museum does is because it takes us off campus around the country, all 50 states, and reminds us that this museum is not just about teaching the history of a war. It's about teaching what's important and why we actually will serve and those will actually potentially pay the greatest sacrifices to protect these things that are so crucial and important. And I just want every one of you to know that is receiving the Billy Michal Award that just as you followed this example, you're now setting this example. And so it's an opportunity to continue to perpetuate this concept of serving something greater than yourselves. All that was off script, by the way, so sorry if I've taken you guys off your timing. But this is a really cool thing because I actually get to not only be a part of the award, the Billy Michal Student Leadership Award, I actually get to introduce a guy named Billy Michal. When 6-year-old Billy Michal from Zimmerman, Louisiana, helped his one-room school win a statewide scrap metal collection contest during World War II, it was because he understood that every citizen, no matter how small, could contribute to our victory in the war. His example and the actions of millions of other students on the home front reminds us that service to country and community helps to create active, engaged citizens. Through the award made in his name, the National World War II Museum promotes these values to students nationwide and honors one student from each state and the District of Columbia who exemplify them. Leadership, teamwork, tolerance, creativity, and perseverance are at the core of each of these award winners. We're honored to have Mr. Michal actually here with us today. Mr. Billy, please come up to the stage and join us in presenting the leadership awards that bear your name.
Thank you, sir. We'll just stand right over here, Billy, if that's all right with you.
Okay, I'm going to get off here.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You got it. Thank you. And I'll just ask you to step over just a little bit so that the student, when they come over, we get a nice clear photo of you guys. Okay? Thank you.
No, thank you all for being here today, and thank you all, distinguished guests, museum leaders, and these students who we're going to get to award and recognize for their great works here today. But I want to thank you. My name is Colin Makeumson, and I'm thrilled to have gotten to know some of these young people over the last few weeks and months, and I'm happy to present to them, along with Mr. Billy Michal, the award that bears his name. So we're very excited to recognize some of the next generation's best and brightest with the Billy Michal Student Leadership Award. Students, when I call your name, please step forward to receive your award on the stage. And we will begin at the beginning of the alphabet. I said the pressure was really on him. So from Alabama, congratulations to Benjamin Arn. From Alaska, congratulations to Jayoni Amaker. From Arizona, congratulations to Ashley Nevison. From Arkansas, congratulations to Trinity Foster. From California, congratulations to Alina Susu. From Colorado, congratulations to Riley Cooper. From Connecticut, congratulations to Mahika Joshi. From Delaware, congratulations to Brett Cressman. From Florida, congratulations to Alexis Buggum. From Georgia, congratulations to Bryn Audrey Hammock. From Idaho, congratulations to Hannah Little. From Illinois, congratulations to Ariella Poi. From Indiana, congratulations to Isaac Rensler. From Iowa, congratulations to Ren Minke. From Kansas, congratulations to William Hare. From Kentucky, congratulations to Levery Molina Hughes. Right here in our own backyard from Louisiana, congratulations to Autumn Herring. From Maine, congratulations to Grace Davey. From Maryland, congratulations to Zoe Tobry. From Michigan, congratulations to Aubrey Lane McIntosh. From Mississippi, congratulations to Stanley Q. From Montana, congratulations to Elaine Reed. From Nebraska, congratulations to Jocelyn Stamp. From Nevada, congratulations to Abigail Panarizo. From New Hampshire, congratulations to Olivia DeAngelis. From New Jersey, congratulations to Milton James, Deputy III. From New York, congratulations to Elliott Science. From North Carolina, congratulations to James Michael Williamson. From North Dakota, congratulations to Anna Elson. From Ohio, congratulations to Miss Katie Wells. From Oklahoma, congratulations to Elizabeth Cantrell. From Oregon, congratulations to Cole Carnes. From Pennsylvania, congratulations to Emily Truitt. From Rhode Island, congratulations to Catherine Sweeney. From South Carolina, congratulations to Parker Bradford. From South Dakota, congratulations to Joseph Van Oversledge. From Tennessee, congratulations to Soleil Isaac. From Texas, congratulations to Kate Yunjae Young. From Utah, congratulations to Anika Rao. From Vermont, congratulations to Sydney Adrian. From Virginia, congratulations to Purcell Jackson. From Washington, congratulations to Jean Lynn. From West Virginia, congratulations to Jalen Jett. And last but certainly not least, from Wyoming, Miss Ruby Homer Wambeam. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me again in congratulating our 2022 Billy Michael Student Leadership Award recipients. And now I would like to please welcome the museum's Vice President of Education and Access, Colonel Pete Crane, to moderate the Student Leadership Forum as we invite our 2022 American Spirit Medallion and Silver Service Medallion recipients to take their seats and to have Pete moderate this experience. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably my favorite part of the program today because earlier we were recognizing men and women for a lifetime of service. And if you've had the opportunity to look at the biographies of these students, you'd see that they are young men and women that are already making a difference in their communities. And that someday, maybe decades from now, they may also be back up here on the stage for a lifetime of community achievement. So through our leadership forum, we hope to give our students the opportunity to get advice and connect with our Silver Service and American Spirit Medallion honorees. In a moment here, we'll have some of our honorees up on the stage, and the students are going to have an opportunity to ask questions. Now, it would take all afternoon for all 50 to be able to ask questions, so it's going to, we're only going to have a handful, but it's a great opportunity for these students who have already done so much to have interaction with these men and women who have done so much, our honorees today. So we'll give it just a moment to get our honorees in place, and then give the kids an opportunity to ask their questions.
Yes, ma'am. It's truly an honor to be up here. So for our first question today, we're going to give an opportunity for, it's going to be a question from Ms. Clarkson from Lavery Molina Hughes from Kentucky. So Lavery, over to you.
Hello, Mrs. Clarkson. My question is, how would you increase civic participation among younger generations?
Well, I hope it's what I have done already. I included a lot of young people to join me on all of the playgrounds in this city to help clean them up and repair them and watch the children of that playground become a part of cleaning up their own playground. I showed a lot of the children, a lot of the young adults, how you could participate at their age in something that would become meaningful in other people's lives as well as in their own. And they could go on to represent businesses, companies, services that would keep those playgrounds available to our children, because that's where they belonged instead of on the streets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Kate Yunjae Jung from Texas, and this is a question for Dr. Teamer.
Hello, Dr. Teamer. What advice do you have for the leaders of the future generation when it comes to making a change in one's community?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again for me?
Yes. What advice do you have for the leaders of the future generation when it comes to making a change in one's community?
I think it's very important for the teachers to understand what the questions are in the community, and then therefore they're in a better position to respond to them. Most of the time, a lot of our teachers will not have the experience to respond directly to these questions. And I think it's important for them, if they do not have the experience, to seek that additional response from their colleagues and then make the response. But I think it's important for teachers to be able to respond to the questions given them by students.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Elliott Science of New York to ask Dr. Carol Rittner a question.
Sister Rittner, with your background as a Holocaust educator and a nun, what would you say is the cause in the rise in anti-Semitism and other forms of hate here in the United States and elsewhere in the world?
Well, first of all, thank you. I received the question yesterday or the day before, so I had a little bit of time to think about this. And what I would say, first of all, is anti-Semitism and hatred did not end with the end of the Hitler-era World War II in Europe and the Holocaust. And let me sort of be clear about what I'm speaking about here, particularly in terms of anti-Semitism. I'm talking about prejudice against or hatred of Jews and Judaism. The other thing I would say in terms of the response I want to make here is this is a very complex question. And to try to respond to it in 2 or 3 minutes is sort of difficult. But I would draw to your attention, for those of you who may come from one of the Christian traditions, and so share with me and with other Christians the Christian scriptures, that we still have to deal with language in the Gospels, in the letters of St. Paul, and in the Acts of the Apostles. We still have to deal with language and phrases that demean Jews. Now not to say that there hasn't been a lot of work done, particularly in my tradition, since Vatican Council II ended in 1965. But we do go to Mass or church services or prayer services or Bible study week after week after week, and we hear language that is not always very complimentary to Jews. So there's always that. That's unfortunately, in our Christian culture, and we always have to be working against it, explaining context, etc. Second thing that I would say, so that's anti-Judaism in Christian theology and Christian scriptures. Anti-Semitism, which is really racism, frequently rears its ugly head in times of social, political, and economic uncertainty. And ours is just such a time. Think about this, that our times have been made worse by COVID-19, for example. We've heard things about like George Soros, and that George Soros is somehow funding Jews to spread COVID-19. We have a war going on in Ukraine, which is affecting all of us in supply chains, in food, in our energy, in inflation. And unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, that's wrong choice of words, but the president of Ukraine is a Jew. So we heard the prime minister or foreign minister of Russia commenting about President Zelensky and about Jews and Judaism, using terrible images that get picked up by the internet, by the World Wide Web. That helps to, I think, increase prejudice and bias against Jews and Judaism. We've had incidents in this world, from shootings in synagogues, the shooting in Pittsburgh, where Jews were considered non-white people. And so this phrase that we heard in August of 2017 in Charlottesville, where we heard the white nationalists, the neo-Nazis, who were also spouting terrible things about others, Muslims, non-white people, but saying things like, Jews will not replace us. And then they're parading with these tiki torches that certainly remind us about Hitler and the Nazi era. So all of this contributes to a rise of prejudice against a clearly identifiable people. Jews are not Christians. They don't go to church, mass, or services on Sunday. Their Sabbath is from Friday night until Saturday evening. And so these white nationalists stir up hatred against Jews and Judaism. From the left, we could say that from the political right, from the political left, we have to say, but we have the state of Israel and its policies against Palestinians. This also contributes where all Jews are blamed for the policies of the state of Israel. Certainly unfair, but that happens. And then we have the conspiracy theories, people like QAnon and like the ghost Ezra, who's an open Nazi, who praises Hitler, admires the Third Reich, and openly decries the supposedly treacherous nature of Jews. All of this is happening. And then we have leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, educational leaders who fail to speak out. The August 2017 event in Charlottesville, Virginia, where we had the President of the United States not clearly speaking out and condemning what went on there. All of this, I think, helps to create a climate for hate crimes and hatred against Jews and Judaism.
Thank you.
That's rather incomplete but long.
response to your question.
No, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for Ms. Romay Davis from Emily Truitt of Pennsylvania.
Hi, Ms. Romay. My name is Emily Truitt, and my question for you today is how did you overcome being a female in a male-dominated profession?
How did you overcome being a female in a male-dominated profession?
Interesting question. Well, I grew up among 5 brothers, and that tells my whole story. Each one left home before the war, separately, you know? And by the time the war came around, I had one brother left at home with me, my youngest brother, who's in California today. And when he left, the only natural thing for me to do was to follow soon thereafter. So I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and what would I do, and how would I miss Mom and Pop? I think about it now. I decided I was going to ask if I could go. And I did. My father was reluctant. My mother was saying, "Child, you're grown up. We're going to miss Bud," he's my youngest brother. "But the world is big," she said, "and you're small. You think you can manage it?" First of all, she asked me, and I thought I could, because I was about 19, I guess, by then. I thought I could do anything. So she said, after speaking with her a while, she said, "I'm going to miss you and all that. We know that. But," she said, "if you think you can manage it, you're not going to be afraid, you're not going to be homesick, and all these other little things that we go on." I said, "I think I can do it, and I want to go." She thought about it, and she said, "The world is big, and you're small. You won't even be noticed, but you go and learn." She said, "If you're not afraid," I told her I was a little bit, but I wanted to go. Because my youngest brother, had left. He went into the Marine Corps. And she said, "Well, you have a lot of getting ready to do." Then, of course, I got all, fidgety and all the other things that happen to you. And I was happy about it, So she let me go. My father didn't have a whole lot to talk about it. He said, "You want to take care of yourself?" And I said, "Of course I will take care of myself." And he said, "Well, the world is yours." And I went off I was working in Washington in the treasury department at the time. And I went off, reluctantly a little bit. That was, reluctance was farther away than anything else, because I was excited about going. I didn't know really what to expect, but I wanted to go. So she said, "The world is yours." And off I went. And here I am now. A lot of traveling, I guess tears and everything else.
Thank you.
Before we close, we have one final question for all of our honorees, and it was suggested by Brett Cressman of Delaware. So, Brett?
Well, good afternoon. As many famous people and accomplished people have been asked, what advice would you give to your younger self if you had the opportunity?
Am I first? You asking me? Okay.
Well, one of the main reasons that I bought a dream when I joined Nick and Boise and those few wonderful gentlemen and Dr. Ambrose and believed in the future of this museum, and everyone thought we were crazy, and was willing to go to Governor Foster, was because my husband and I, who couldn't be with us today, and he's so sorry, we both grew up in World War II, not near each other. He was in San Diego and I was here. But every member of both of our families served in World War II. His father commanded a ship from Pearl Harbor to Tokyo. His uncle was killed at Pearl Harbor. His mother was a Rosie the Riveter. My family, everyone served, all of the men, my daddy, my uncles, Army and Navy, and my mother did community chest, my aunt did Red Cross, on and on and on. They even sent Buzz, my husband, out to knock on doors and turn out the lights for the air raids that we had. I got sent out to collect unwrapped toiletries and hygienic materials so we could send them to USO. The point is, because we lived that and believed in it so much, in what it made America, when I had the opportunity to join a fabulous small group of men, I knew we were going somewhere. And if I had only known, I would have asked myself to join public service, elected official, earlier, and get more and more and more people to come and do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Davis, same question for you. What advice would you give to your younger self?
I would I think the best advice I could give to my younger self would be to listen very carefully to all of the advice that you receive. Read everything that you can read and understand that. Do not try to imitate those things that you will see on television, but be careful and read everything you can for yourself. Discuss it with your friends and your advisors, and then you will be better off in the end.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Davis, same question for you. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Put it on the table. Looking back at this now, I have been able to think about what I would do if I had children. And I think mostly about the younger people, say 10 years old and older, to teenage. I would kind of get them to believe that it was important for them to be associated with every person that they could be associated with among the children of their own ages in some kind of camp-like life, where the children at an early age could be together with other children at the same ages and leave mom and pop home, who would be overlooking everything that was happening, questions and behavior and sleeping and all of life. They would be monitoring from afar. But I think children today especially younger children, ought to be associated with others outside of home. And I say that because it's the earliest part of learning, or the second stage of learning. Was when the early part is when they're babies and they attended to. But by the time a child gets to be 10 years old, 9 years old, he has a thought of his own, even more so. And it would be, even with the supervision of the folks, the families back home, who would see the children and oversee the people who are taking care of the children, they would be like outside monitors of what is happening to them. Because the children have to get used to being away from home a few days at a time, and would be learning about other people. And this is what I think rubs off on youngsters. Some children are more temperamental than others, and others would want to go, couldn't go because of their dispositions. But the earliest possible The youngsters should be outside of the home as well as at home. Even if it was just a caretaker taking him on a vacation by himself, you know. But I would rather see some kind of understanding about life, how to behave when somebody speaks to you, how not to cry like I used to when somebody would say, "Oh, what a pretty girl." I'd break into a cry. It wasn't necessary, and I didn't know why I did it. So I'm thinking they were going to take me away from my mother or something. But children need to be broken in, so to speak. Language was bad, but I think they need a little outside tutoring. Because I don't know, they're too close to mom. Not too close, but they need some space between. Some children will get sick. If they're away from home, but they'll get over it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. And same to you, Dr. Rittner. The question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
The advice I would give to my younger self, and that I give to all younger people and older people as well, is I wish I had learned by heart and tried to put more into practice the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, who, as you probably know, was a friend of all sorts of people, Muslims, Jews, believers, non-believers. So I would wish that I would be able to pray and make real this prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. I would pray that I would not so much seek to be consoled as to console others, to be understood as to understand others, to be loved as to love others. That's what I would hope I would say to my younger self and try to put into practice.
Thank you. Definition of servant leadership right there. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
So thank you very much to our panel participating in today's discussion, and a special thank you to our students for their incisive questions. This has been a great discussion. So now I'll turn the microphone back over to our chairman, Mr. John Kerner.
Thank you, Pete, and congratulations to all of our award recipients. All proceeds for the American Spirit Award supports museums' educational programs, which is the heart of our mission. Today's forum confirms the importance of bringing together multiple generations to share their perspectives and learn from each other. Your support of our annual American Spirit Awards makes it possible for us to continue sharing the stories and legacy of the World War II generation with even larger audiences of all ages across the country. This concludes our program, and hope you enjoy the afternoon at the museum, and look forward to seeing many of you at tonight's gala. Thank you all for coming. Do go through the museum. It's fabulous for the young people.